Hi, friends. Hi. I am itchy and ridiculous. Yeah. Hi, how are you? Hi.
He used to get hurt by all the girls. They try his world for just a season.
Hi, welcome back to St. Paul, Minnesota, where you will find weirdos like me. It's September the 10th. It's the 10th of September, and I have been enjoying my first week of child freedom after a month of having him home for the summer and not knowing quite what to do with him and having many of our plans fall through because of weather and various other problems. And so I am so glad to be back with you today, where I can talk to you about all of the things that I have been making and doing and obsessing about since last we spoke. I just spent a little bit of the afternoon editing my previous video where I talked to you about all of my plans for Tour de France Femmes. I have much to show you in regards to that. And I've been obsessing about some other things and making. I've finally gotten back on my knitting. Things are happening. So, if we're going to do this in the standard YouTube format, I usually start with, what am I wearing today? Well, as you can see, I re-dyed my hair. Oh, and I've been playing with these guys. Somebody on the internet was like, hey, remember these? And I was like, they never worked for me before, but now look at all this hair of mine. So I re-dyed everything. But then roller derby started, which means showers every other day, which is more than I would do if I were just living life and trying to keep my hair dye in place. See how easy that was? Oh my gosh. These are so funny. Look, these are my Who's Down in Whoville hairs. Yeah, they're great. Love them so much. They stick straight out. I cannot tame them. This is what happens because I was feeling so badass. I was going to be such a badass. I shaved a tiny bit right here on both sides before a derby bout at the end of last season. And now I'm in the awkward grow out phase. So, Cindy Lou Who, eat your heart out. Yeah. Anyway, so I redyed my hair. And I just went and bought some more product for it today because it's already starting to fade. But I'm having lots of fun with it. I get all the compliments. And I don't mind if it's fading. It's making all these like interesting pastels happen. It was not deliberate. They started out kind of neon. What am I wearing? This bad boy again. You remember this guy? Did I remember to go and look up the name of it? It's the Racerback tank by Jessie Maed. Haha, I do remember. And it's in this sort of oatmeal colored yarn, Illimani Sabri, which is a cotton wool alpaca maybe blend that I purchased as a souvenir yarn while I was feeling so cool. No, while I was taking 14 seconds to myself and going to a yarn store while we were on vacation as a family in San Diego, whenever that was. Yeah. Editor Cat here is ready to tell you that actually it was not my last video. It was the last video I could find. It turns out I was editing it earlier today. I recorded another video that I had forgotten about. It got lost in the weeds somewhere. And now it's up, and it was a check-in mid-August. So a couple of weeks before this video was filmed, And so I'll add a couple little like caveat, star corrections or whatever, but I think I forgot that I filmed that video, so please just bear with me. So usually the next thing that I would talk about is what have I been working on? But I think we should actually go even further back and begin where we left off. So if you are a regular watcher of my ridiculousness, then in my last video, I got down on the floor over there and I showed you every kind of purple wool that I had available. And so now I will show you some of the rolags. I made an insane pile of rolag. I don't know. I got the blending board out, my little $20 friend off the Amazons, and I went crazy. And I had so much fun. I filled this whole giant box, which you will see almost everything has been used. I started out with this guy, which is now like the last thing I have left. I spun this in a different direction than everything else, so then I can't ply it with the stuff that I was making. I made just the very last thing that I made was this crazy orange and brown with sparkles situation. And I only did one blending board full of that. So I've got just a few of them. They're very strange. Not usually my color scheme at all, but maybe would be good for like just a little bit of a, what do you call it? A little color work. And then the rest, everything else that I've kept out is giving me maximum, what do you call it? Starry Night vibes. It's very Van Gogh. That yellow and blue and white. And I've got lots and lots of them. So those are the things that I have left to spin after making this thing an overflowing box, as you saw in the picture. There's still more wool over there. I could make more, but let's see, which direction should I go first? Well, I showed you all of those bags and bags of purples. And initially I was like, I don't know if these all go together. I might have to like scale it back a little bit. And there is one that got left out. So you remember this braid? There was a very compacted, it was so compacted that I, at the last minute, decided to leave it out. So I've got this guy left. So yeah, it's just starting to floof it out again. But I think this was also thin wool. I've got the little paper over here to tell me what it is, don't I? Yeah, there. Yeah, gray finish wool from Crafty Cap Fiber, Forever Autumn. But it was different enough from what else I had going on, and I had made enough things that I eventually decided that I didn't need to include it, because my purple obsession and all of those wools ended in my completion of this. Let's get real up close and personal, shall we? I am so chuffed with the results of my insanity. This is a lot. This is maybe a little too much in the best possible way. Did I weigh it? I don't think I weighed it. I have no idea how much yarn is here. What I ended up doing was I spun individually all of those different braids. I didn't split them up in any way that made sense. Sometimes I did big chunks, sometimes I did little thin chunks. I thought about doing proper fractal spins, never did it. I thought about pairing them up and just keeping two colors together and two colors together in a way where like they would all be very individual skeins. Didn't do that. And eventually I had all of these beautiful, can you see them? No. See over there how I have many, many empty bobbins. I filled basically every bobbin that I had. And I was having a wonderful time, just spinning like crazy. And then I realized that I wanted to make more. So then I went and started with the Rolex, and that art bat that I showed you and a bunch of other like random chunks, I just broke it apart and put it back together in a way that I thought would be complementary to the yarn that I had already spun. I tried to stick to the same color themes in terms of using yellows and browns and purples and blues and pinky stuff if I could find it. And it is a wild and crazy mess, and I absolutely love it. I was obsessed because every single strand of this yarn is like doing a different thing. So just watching it go by, it was like people watching. There's like 200 individuals in here to get to know. So I did this while I was watching the Tour de France Femmes. And then it continued into my latest televised obsession, which is watching the Great British Sewing Bee, which if you've not heard of that and you are a big fan of things like Project Runway or Great British Bake Off, cannot recommend it enough. It got me through so much of this, you know. Plying can be a bit mind-numbing after a while. And there was a lot to do. And I wanted to do it in a way where like I said, I had originally thought about just doing like 1-for-1 matchups, but then I decided that I would start splitting things like part way through. And so things got real wild and crazy where I was like starting and stopping different colors and different bobbins. And at the end of the day, I think, what do I think about it? I think I used I think I had 9 bobbins full of wool in total. And then I plied it onto my eel wheel, which is bigger. And that guy got so full, I had to like get stuff off to get more on. And here's all that's left. Here's the last little bit of singles that I could ply on one of my weaving bobbins. It's mostly blue, so I didn't feel like it was really getting that left out. And I thought about, I did 2 plies. I don't know if you've noticed, but they're all 2-ply. I thought about cable plying it because it looks like this is kind of on the thinner end of the spectrum. I was all over the place with thickness, which will be real fun to figure out how to knit this all up later. But seriously, guys, it's so good. It's so good. I can't stand it. Maximum colors. And you'll notice there's some little sparkles in there, again from one of the art bats. I just was like, why not? Let's just throw that in there too. And then, as if this wasn't enough fun, here, ooh, look at this. So we got these, right? And then here's that purple from wax. Do those look good together? Oh, sometimes, maybe not all the time. Better with this one over here. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So that was the main body. Oops, shoot, of the wool. Man, I just dropped one far away where I can't reach it. But you can't see what I'm looking at. I was still going crazy with the Rolex. And remember, I was talking to you about those pinks and purples and peaches that I was so obsessed with. Well, look at my little turtle friends. One more of them has escaped. These were the Rolex that I made, that I ended up hand spinning on my drop spindle. This was my Mother's Day present this year from my daughter. So pretty. So pretty. And so I spun all of these. Again, I haven't weighed it. I think it's about 200 grams in total. And now I have to ply them. I mean, as you can see, I have like this much left. And then I think after that, I'm out of purple. There is some more pink over there. I'm also out of white, except for all of the stuff that I have that's totally unwashed in the garage. And I'm not sure that that would give me the same. I'm not sure that that would give me the same texture because the stuff I was using was pretty fine. Ooh, yikes. That almost broke. Let's back it up here. Pretty fine in a way that I want to continue, but I also, and I'm not sure if I want to make more. I seriously doubt I have something resembling a sweater quantity, but this stuff's real soft. So it might be good for a cowl. Nothing major, you know, just a little something. It might end up being about the size of one regular size ball of yarn or two. So that was the majority of my spinning. One of the other things that I talked about last time that I thought would be really fun to show you, I had not finished plying the, what do you call it? Cookies and Cream Bicolor Shetland, 4 ounces. And you know what happened? I didn't talk about it at the time because it hadn't happened yet. If you watched the video all the way to the end, you'll notice I was in the midst of plying this and I plied it in the wrong direction. So I ended up having to completely undo it and go the other direction. And I was cable plying, so it was real weird. I think I fixed it. I'm not entirely sure. So, and my initial attempt was catastrophic overspinning in one direction. The joke being that I had to, Tour de France Femmes had to fix Tour de France problems. That's my feminist joke. Just quietly undo inappropriately done things. What else? Well, I was trying to do a little bit more spinning for my BFL sweater spin. And I got, this is another whole turtle, but some of the yarn that I had, or some of the ply I had waiting, and then this other stuff, they were plied in the wrong direction. Like they were plied in opposite directions, so I couldn't ply them together. So now I have one that's wrong, which means I don't know if I have to leave it out of the sweater or if I'll be okay with just like having a certain section of it that very obviously goes the other direction. That might be kind of an interesting thing to try, a talking point, if you will. I talked to you about this blue and how it might go along with the blue that I spun last year. So I went and hunted it down in the green. And I don't know, guys. It turns out this is 2-ply and this is 3-ply. It still might be great. And otherwise, I don't think I have enough for a whole sweater. Maybe if I hold it double with something. And then the last thing, I finally decided that I was not going to ply the rainbow that I had sitting, waiting in a single ply. So this is my first attempt at single ply yarn. I haven't washed it. I haven't thwacked it. It's terrifying. And when I was taking it off and having a good look at it, I discovered that I was not consistent in the thickness of my spin. So like here, let's see. Look at this little tiny guy, right? And then not too much further down the color scheme, that big dude. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's so pretty. Look at that rainbow. Sometime, and again, maybe I'll try to hold it double with something, but I don't want anything to take away from the color. This gorgeous color. It might be really good for like, what do you call it? I have that like pressed flowers, you know, Amy Christoffers, the pressed flowers cardigan, where it's all what do you call it? Mosaic knitting. So it'll be like, and I could do it with a gray, lots of warm gray. Would look great with this. And then it's, you know, reinforced. Okay, that is a recap of all of the spinning. And, you know, I did touch on it last time, so I tried to keep it pretty quick and easy and just kind of give you a little check-in and bring these guys out so we could confer. I don't know. Because I would really like to use all this beautiful yarn that I've spun. So because I was obsessing about the Great British Sewing Bee, what I ended up doing, one of the things that they do in every episode, they have 3 challenges. The first one is sew something from a pattern. The second one is a transformation challenge. So take one thing and turn it into something else. And the third one is made to measure. So you have a real model and you make a piece of clothing that fits them beautifully. The made to measure one really inspired me because they have, every season has like a recycling week. And so a couple of years ago, when I was out with Wax, hi Wax, I bought these reusable washcloth paper towel replacement guys. And I've been thinking about how I would like to use these more often. My partner is a hardcore paper towel user. Why was that a tongue twister? Hardcore paper towel user. And I had some towels that were being taken out of rotation because they had holes. And I realized that a great way to reuse and recycle, a la the transformation challenge, was to make my own additional little paper towel wannabe guys. So this is a tea towel, which, as you can see, it got like a, I don't know if that's glue or something. And then over here, it's falling apart. There was another hole like right down the middle of it. I made 2 of these guys. I hand stitched it. And then this is the towel that was falling apart, cut it into pieces. And so now I have a couple of extra. And I'm feeling really good about that. So that was a random crafty thing that I did while I was watching other people sewing like mad and being very kind to each other, which I really loved. All right, I'm speeding this up because the alarm went off that my child will get off the bus any minute now. And now that he's a big old first grader, I don't have to go meet him at the bus stop, which is awesome. But once he comes in, it will be pandemonium in here. So let's be quick. Today is the day that I mailed Sophia her socks. Here's the yarn that's left from that ball. So I could make another pair, and I have a second ball of this stuff, so I could make 3 more pairs. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll make them larger next time. But sock yarn. There's that. It's my finished object. I cast something on. What's this guy? Here's my works in progress. In case you didn't understand that that's what we're doing now. This is, oh yeah, it's the 2 of Wands Summer League tee. And I'm using the Kobu that I got from Joann's in the before she died times. Rest in peace, Joann's. I have an absolute ton of this lovely olive color green. And I haven't been super on top of making this. I didn't gauge swatch ahead of time. I just went for it with the recommended. I like the fabric it's making. It'll be nice and loose and soft. It's very soft. The cotton blend yarn doesn't seem to be nearly as splitty as the straight bamboo was. That's been good. And then I needed some more socks for work. I started toe up this time. I used a specific pattern, which I will link below, that is specifically for this rounded start to a toe up sock. Here's my beginning stitch marker. This is where we started. And then we got all the way this far. And then I just went hunting in my stash and I found some cute little guys. And now I weighed this, my original ball of yarn, which was a clearance bin purchase from Hobby Lobby before I stopped shopping there. So it cost me $2 whole and some change. I weighed it, so this should get me the rest of the way through. I was looking at the stripes and they should about even out. Should get me to the end of our sock friend here, and then another red chunk, and then this guy is about where I should put in the afterthought heel to make these socks be for my mama. So that's the plan. They will be socks for mama. Yeah, that's what I got. And finally, oh no, 2 more things. Haha, I'm a liar. Not sad. Okay, this is just the beginning, and I don't expect you to get another chance at seeing this live and in person from me, but look at this guy. Oh my gosh, I'm not very good. This is a crochet. Eventually it's supposed to be a toy raccoon. It's so cute. I thought about putting a nose on, but I think the plastic noses are too big, and technically the safety eyes are a choking hazard for babies. So I might have to make another one that doesn't have safety eyes, but these are going to be for Wax's baby. Hi, Wax. I'm making you a raccoon. I hope I finish it before I get to you. I'm going to visit her. And then finally, for really, way back, way back. I don't know if I ever even showed it to you. Oops, sorry. I dropped this and now it's all over the place and I'm just gathering it up. I was trying to knit a hat from this wool that I spun in the grease. But again, I didn't gauge swatch. I didn't measure properly. I just went for it. And you know what happened? It was way too big. And I didn't feel like ripping it out because it's so sticky with all that lovely lanolin. It really, really needs to be washed in very hot, maybe a little bit soapy water. What I decided instead, I had even more ridiculous brown and white art yarn. And I have been obsessing about these like hoods. They're just like a snood or like a separate hood. And there was a free pattern that I really liked on the internet. Turns out it's all in Norwegian. And because it's a PDF download, I can't use like Google Translate. And so I just have been looking at it and then going for it. And I am making this. I'm so close to done. I was so frustrated that I couldn't be. Here's the base opening. I'm coming up over the top. You'll get to here, and then I'm going to do a little pick up and knit, maybe with a little cinchy guy, because that's what it looks like in the original pattern. But this is all my ridiculous hand spun, and it's been so much fun to work with. And I don't know if I ever would have done anything like serious with it, you know? I'm a princess. Look at my little crown up here. So eventually it's going to be kind of wide, but that'll be good for adding in like if it were the top of a sweater, it'd be like the collar, but I'm gonna try to make an I-cord and like make something cinchable so that you can really pull it in and it's going to be so warm. This is crazy warm. And it's such a fun use of this ridiculous yarn. This, look, just chunks of it. This is Angora from my friend Alice, who had Angora rabbits for a little while. And then if you'll notice, see how it's almost like art yarn where there's like this string around the really floofy stuff? That string was on one of my spinning wheels. Like it just came with it. I have no idea what it is, like the provenance. I don't know what it's made out of. I don't know who spun it. It could be 100+ years old. Like I have no idea, which is so fun. But it was, I think it was on the antique spinning wheel that I got that I want to fix. That is not fixed, but it had. So I just acquired the yarn off of the bobbin and plied it on here. And so that will be knitted into this ridiculous creature also. I don't know if you can even see it. I did an impromptu cable up the back and over the top. It's not very good. See, can you see it? Just barely. Originally I had 2, but they were terrible, and this yarn is so sticky I could just drop it down and turn it into regular knitting and go right back up again. So I've just been doing this entirely off the cuff, pun intended. And that, my friends, is the totality of catching up with what I have been working on in the land of spinning and knitting. And now I have to shut up and go away because any second my child will be here. So I hope that you are doing well. It was lovely to catch up with you. Thanks so much for putting up with my comings and goings, as sporadic as they are. I hope to see you again soon back here. Bye-bye. I love you.